Have you ever wondered who truly holds the power in a story? Is it always the person whose name we remember, the one whose statues we see? What if I told you that behind one of history's most famous conquerors, there were powerful queens whose stories have been whispered away by time? These were the daughters of Genghis Khan. Their tale, largely hidden until historians like Jack Weatherford began to piece it together in his book, Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World, reveals a different kind of power. It wasn't the power of the sword, but the power of the mind, of strategy, and of quiet, unshakable control that shaped an empire. We all know the name Genghis Khan. He was the legendary warrior who, over 800 years ago, united the scattered tribes of Mongolia and built the largest land empire the world has ever seen. We picture him on horseback, leading vast armies across Asia and into Europe. But his empire was not built on conquest alone. It needed to be managed, protected, and held together. While he and his sons were away on military campaigns, expanding the borders of their world, someone had to rule at home. Someone had to keep the heart of the empire beating strong. This incredible responsibility fell to his daughters. Genghis Khan had a brilliant and calculated strategy for his daughters, a plan that we might call daughter diplomacy. So, he arranged for his daughters to marry the kings of powerful allied nations, particularly those who controlled the vital trade routes of the Silk Road. But this was no ordinary marriage alliance. There were very specific rules that had to be followed. The first rule was that the king had to dismiss all his other wives, making his daughter the king's only queen. After the marriage, Genghis Khan would assign his new son-in-law to military duty in the Mongol Wars, sending him to fight on the front lines. Most of these kings would not survive the brutal warfare. They were, in a sense, sacrificed for the empire. The daughters who now ruled these kingdoms had a monumental task to become the guardians of the Silk Road. Imagine the Silk Road as the internet of the ancient world. Along these routes traveled not only precious goods like silk, spices, and jewels, but also new ideas, technologies, religions, and cultures. These queens like Alakai Beki, who ruled a vast territory in China, created a protective shield around the Mongol homeland. Under their watch, merchants could travel for thousands of miles without fear of bandits or corrupt officials. It was said that a young woman could walk from one end of the empire to the other carrying a nugget of gold on her head without being harmed. While Genghis Khan's daughters held immense power, they often had to rule from the shadows. One of the most powerful daughters, Toragemi, became the Great Khatun, or Empress, and ruled the entire Mongol Empire for 5 critical years. By mastering this subtle art of ruling from the shadows, women like Toragene ensured the continuity of the Mongol Empire through its most vulnerable moments. So, why does the story of these forgotten queens matter to us today? It matters because it changes the way we see history. Think of it like building with Legos. When we only learn about the kings and generals, we are only seeing a small part of the structure. The Mongol queens show us a different kind of strength, the power of intelligence, patience, administration, and diplomacy. Who are the hidden figures shaping our world right now? For every famous name we read about, how many unsung heroes are working behind the scenes, ensuring that our world keeps running?